I'm Mrs. ZK, and today we are going to work on decoding words. We are going to work on a strategy that's going to help us when we get to those words that are bigger or with more syllables. Today we are going to be working on dividing words into syllables or splitting them into parts. We're going to be looking at words that have R-controlled vowels. Now let's look at a strategy that we're going to use today. Today we are going to be dividing words into syllables. One very important thing to remember is that every syllable only has one vowel sound. That vowel sound could be made by one vowel or a vowel team. So it's super important for us to find those vowels in the word. When we find the vowels in the word, we're going to put a dot under every vowel. This will help us determine how to split the word up. If we find a vowel team, those vowels that are working together to make one vowel sound, we'll underline them. And then we can decide how to split the word. Are we going to split the word in between two consonants, two vowels, or a consonant and a vowel? Today, we are working with Mr. Bossy R. Oh, and he is bossy. Let me tell you what. He said he has to be right up here to watch us as we work today. And the vowel sounds that we usually say and know aren't going to be true today. The R is very controlling, and it makes the vowel and the R come together and make their own sound. Let's look at some of those examples. So when we see a vowel and an R right after it in a word, we know that this R is controlling the vowel in the sound that it's going to make. Whenever we see ER, IR, or UR, they're always going to make the sound What sound are they going to make? If we see OR, it'll be the sound OR. What sound? Yes, and if we see AR, it's going to be the sound R. Yeah, it reminds me of a pirate sound. R. So these are known as R-controlled vowels, and also is known as Mr. Bossy R. So I will leave our poster up here, and as we see vowels that have an R right after it in the word, we know that it's going to make a different sound, either the or R. I have a couple examples here with some easier words, one-syllable words. So what I'm going to do is the same thing. I'm still going to find the vowels and put a dot under it. Then I'm going to find Mr. Bossy R. And I see that he's right after that U. Remember, UR makes that sound So we have the word fur. What word? Fur. What animal do you know that has fur? Yep, you're right. All right, let's try another word. I'm going to start by putting a dot under the vowel. I'm going to look for our pattern, vowel with an R right after it in the word. I see it. IR. Remember, all three of these make that sound. IR is going to make See if we can figure this word out. Birds. Birds. Can you look out your window right now and see some birds? I think I hear some chirping. Well, hopefully you have your paper and something to write with ready, because we're going to practice some words together, and we're going to practice this strategy of dividing the word into syllables. All right, scholars, let's write our first word down. We have B-U-R-R-O-W. As soon as you write your word down, let's put a dot under each vowel. Just a reminder, vowels are A, E, I, O, U, and Y. I found two vowels, a U and a O. Mr. Bossy R is looking at us. He said, do we see any with the pattern that has an R right after the vowel? Do you see it? I see one right here. This vowel is followed by the R in this word. This vowel isn't followed by an R in this word. So I know this is going to make a sound by itself. UR makes what sound? In between these two vowels, I see that we have double consonants. That's usually a good place for us to split the word. Remember, we can divide between two consonants. Let's split the word or draw a line between the two R's in our word. Nice. So we know this UR is going to make the sound. Oh, do you know OW makes its own sound too? It's going to make the long O sound in this word. All right, let's figure out what this word is. O. Burrow. What word? Burrow. Yeah. Later on, you're going to read a story about how Groundhog's garden grew, and Groundhog lives in a burrow. Yeah, it's a hole underground. All right, let's write our next word. B-U-R-L-A-P. What do we do next? Yeah, we're going to find those vowels. When you find a vowel, go ahead and put a dot underneath it. All right, well, we got two vowels. Oh, Mr. Bossy R is talking to me. He said, do we see any vowels with an R right after it in the word? Found it. Again, it's UR. And UR makes what sound? Nice job. All right, well, let's find our vowels and see what's in between them so we can decide how to split our word up. Well, in between these two vowels, there are two consonants. And that's our tip. We can split between two consonants. So let's draw a line in between the R and the L. Do you notice something? I noticed that our word starts the same as the word we just did. That's fun. All right, so UR is going to make the sound, and A is in a closed syllable, so it makes its short sound. Let's figure out this word. Burlap. Burlap. What word? Burlap. Yeah, and that's like a bag, a type of material that a bag can be made out of, a burlap bag. Yeah, in this story, you'll hear about one. It's usually used for potatoes. It could be called a potato sack. A burlap bag. Let's write our next word. H-A-R-V-E-S-T. Yep, and then we're going to find those vowels and put dots underneath them. And now we're looking for our pattern. We know, Bossy R. Do you see an R after any of our vowels in this word? Found it. A-R. Oh, what sound does A-R make? Remember, oh, Mayday? R. Yeah, the pirate sound. Okay, well, let's look in between our two vowels to see how we can split this word. There are two consonants in between our two vowels, so we can split in between two consonants. So let's do that. Draw a line in between the R and the V. Nice work. So we know our first vowel sound is going to make the R sound. Our second vowel is a closed syllable. Yep, so it makes its short sound. Eh. And there's a blend at the end here. St. Yeah. So remember that when we're trying to sound the word out. All right, let's see what we got. Harvest. Harvest. What word? Harvest. And Groundhog, later in the story, was able to harvest all the plants that he grew in his garden. Yeah, I hope you look for that word. All right, scholars. Last word. W-I-N-T-E-R. R. I'm glad you remember. Yeah, let's find the vowels and put dots underneath them. Mr. Bossy R is asking, do we see an R after any of our vowels? At the end this time? Yes. ER is one of those sounds that makes the Okay, so we know that's going to be together. Let's look in between our two vowels. We have two consonants, so we can split in between those. Let's draw a line in between the N and the T. Nice work. Okay, well, let's look at our first syllable. Our vowel is closed in by that consonant, so it's going to make its short sound. All right, let's see what it says. W, in, t, winter. What word? Winter. Yeah, winter time is not a time for gardening, is it? Winter is when it snows and it's too cold. Scholars, let's try applying what we just learned to when we're trying to read something. Yeah, so I have a sentence up here and we're going to try to read it. But when we get to a word that we might not know, we're going to try to do our strategy. We're going to try to divide the word into syllables or break it up into parts based on where the vowels are and if they have the pattern VR. All right. This says Mrs. ZK, hey, that's me. Mrs. ZK ate I don't know that word. Well, let me find the vowels and put dots underneath them. Okay. I see Mr. Bossy R behind a vowel. So I know that's going to make its own sound. UR makes the sound. Okay. In between my two vowels, I see there's two consonants. I'm going to split the word right there. Remember, if we split a word one time and it doesn't make any sense, we can try splitting it a different way. Well, this I isn't a closed syllable, so it has a short I sound. Let me see if I can figure this word out. Nip. Nip. Turnip. Turnip. Oh, a turnip. Okay, let me start over. Mrs. ZK ate a turnip from her... one more time. I'm going to go ahead and find the vowels. I see AR. I see that R right behind the vowel in this word. AR makes our pirate sound. R. In between our two vowels, I see two consonants. So I'm going to split the word right there. And I'm going to see if that makes sense. Okay, so we got R, and we got a closed syllable because the consonant's right there. So short E. Okay, let's see. G, R, D, N. Garden. Garden. Yeah, you just make it sound like a real word. Okay, let me try to read this sentence one more time. Mrs. ZK ate a turnip from her garden. Would you like to try to read it? Go ahead. Nice work. Scholars, I hope you had as much fun as I did today working with words. When you're reading or writing words with more than one syllable, try to think about how these strategies can help you. Try to remember that when an R follows a vowel in a word, it's going to make a different sound, like or R.
This program is made possible in part by the Michigan Department of Education, the State of Michigan, and the W.K. Kellogg Foundation. Additional support by viewers like you. Thank you.